Good morning. It is November 17th, and it's time for our daily dose of good news, which is from Mark, continuing on in chapter 13, verses 9 through 23. As for yourselves, beware, for they will hand you over to councils, and you will be beaten in synagogues, and you will stand before governors and kings because of me, as a testimony to them. And the good news must first be proclaimed to all nations. When they bring you to trial and hand you over, do not worry beforehand about what you are to say, but say whatever is given to you at that time. For it is not you who speak, but the Holy Spirit. Brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. And children will rise against parents and have them put to death, and you will be hated by all because of my name. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. But when you see the desolating sacrilege set up where it ought not to be, let the reader understand. Then those in Judea must flee to the mountains. The one on the housetop must not go down or enter the house or take anything away. The one in the field must not turn back to get a coat. Woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing infants in those days. Pray that it may not be in winter. For in those days there will be suffering, such as has not been from the beginning of the creation that God created until now. No, and never will be. And if the Lord had not cut short those days, no one would be saved. But for the sake of the elect whom he chose, he has cut short those days. And if anyone says to you at that time, "Look, here is the Messiah," or "Look, there he is," do not believe it. False messiahs and false prophets will appear and produce signs and omens to lead astray, if possible, the elect. But be alert. I have already told you everything. Here ends the reading. And in looking at that, it may feel hard to find where's the good news in that. And one piece I think is interesting to consider is the idea that we're told what's going to happen. That then maybe when it occurs, it's less scary or it's less terrifying because it's like, okay, I knew this was coming. Okay, I knew this would happen. And it can be easy to feel panicked when things go awry in our world. And so maybe sometimes it's helpful to hold that in some larger perspective of remembering, okay, we're on earth for what seems like a lifetime. It is a lifetime in some ways. But it is a temporary lifetime compared to God's kingdom, which is coming and which is forever and ever and ever. And so our lifetime in comparison here is like a drop in the bucket in comparison to that. And yes, in this blip of a lifetime, there is going to be trouble and there's going to be all these things that are difficult and painful, and there's going to be betrayal. There's going to be pain. There's going to be things that make us feel desolate. And that's part of it. And so in some ways, I wonder if that takes the shock away of knowing that it's coming, if it helps keep it in perspective of, can you imagine, and maybe we hold to that today, can you imagine the larger picture of how glorious it is when God's kingdom comes? Because it's easy for us to look at the tangible things in the world in this moment and feel like they're long-lasting and forever. But can we take some time to actually visualize, what is it like when those betrayals are removed? What is it like when those agonizing moments are gone? What is it like when there's not persecution? And to really try our best, maybe to visualize that today, to write about that today, to consider the peace that would come in that space, the love that would come in that space, the safety that would come in that space. And so I think the good news is to remember God's kingdom comes and is forever, no matter what's going on that looks awful and is awful in the moment. This is a moment. And our time in God's kingdom is forever. And that's where we rest for millions and billions of years and beyond all time. So I think that's a piece we can take comfort in today, is knowing that God's told us this is the way it's going to be, so don't let it surprise you. Just accept it for what it is, and know that I have something so much bigger and better for you yet to come, and maybe spend some time trying to visualize that and imagine that today. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.